Throughout 2023, the Integrity Octane Series in its very first season of competition has given us 29 great races, thrilling drives, an action-packed playoff format, and now, coming down to the final race of this year, it is 4 drivers left. Ross Cato, Sam Nito, Seth Nwell, Tom Wetmore. Coming down to the final 4 drivers in our season finale for 2023. This is the championship night at the Phoenix Raceway, and qualifying's on the move one last time to determine who will get it done and win the 2023 championship and come home with the biggest prize in Integrity Racing League history. A $2,000 sim rig on the line courtesy of NextLevelRacing.com, the premier partner of the Integrity Racing League. And now, with so few drivers eligible, it's going to take the best of the best, highest finisher win. That's the game plan right now. Sam Nito finds himself in the pole position by 13 thousandths of a second. Cody Smith going to be the runner-up man on the front row with Seth Nwell third and Tom Wetmore then in fourth. Ross Cato will be currently 5th place on the qualifying chart. So inside your top 5 are all your 4 championship contenders. They are labeled in blue tonight on the bottom right of your screen. You'll see the driver identifier gives them a blue accent as opposed to the red accent given by the drivers who are not eligible for the title battle. Now, you'll see right now, Nito's on the track, extra laps for him. Cody Smith playing championship spoiler, more of the same. Tom Wetmore also getting extra time, and as drivers come around one last season of action we've seen in 2023 to its last week, they know this is it, a do-or-die night. If you want to win the championship, you have to perform here and now. Great to have you watching live on FTN. I'll be your host for all of the night's action. David Kreutz commentating and producing. River Page will be on the call for the Highline Racing League as their truck series wraps up its 2nd season of competition. So a lot of championships to follow tonight. It's a championship night on FTN, and this might be the biggest of which, with a very, very lucrative prize pool coming down to the wire. $2,000 sim rig from Next Level Racing, the premier sim rig shop for all iRacers. So knowing how much is on the line, how much is at stake, this is going to be the most important night to succeed, as Sam Nito finds himself on the pole right now with 30 seconds left. Taking some extra practice laps, this time by number 2 machine, the Shelby Cobra. Going to get that extra performance and that extra time in the hot seat to make sure that when we get going for 156 laps of racing, he'll be very well prepared for what is next to come. Qualifying is concluded, and this time by one of your championship 4 contenders has grabbed the pole. Sam Nito, fastest man in qualifying, and just like that, the grid is set for the final time in 2023. And with the grid being set one last time, we now know who's going to be starting where. Inside your top 5, all 4 of your championship contenders will be. Cody Smith is going to give that number 12 machine a bit further of a rough ride if we're talking about Ross Cato, but gives an advantage to Sam Nito, as Sam will have that extra 1 spot of buffer coming through this time by. Number 2 machine going to be up at the top of the board, one of the best qualifiers all season long, right up there with the likes of the aforementioned Cody Smith. And if you get that qualifying run here at Phoenix, it's very hard to take away that spot. Only 1 caution scheduled for tonight, as it's been all season long. So you have 1 big opportunity, and if you waste it, nothing more can be said or done when it comes to your championship opportunity here in our final night. I'll tell you this much though, we do have our starting grid complete, so without further ado, for the final time in 2023, let's find out who starts where at the Phoenix Raceway. This is 2023's championship night and the Integrity Octane Series. One last time, we'll see Sam Nito starting on the front row here in 23 as the number 2 machine takes it up to the pole position with a 27.596 pole by just about 100th of a second. It's going to be Cody Smith not too far behind, your biggest championship spoiler. First round exit, has gone on to place several times on the podium, winning at Kentucky, and keeps the good runs going as Cody Smith will start in the 2nd place. Seth Nwell going to be 3rd, and the number 9 machine finds himself there with a 27.632, the third place on the order. Tom Wetmore, who finds himself with 5 wins going into the night, has himself in the 4th place with a 27.658, and not too far behind, the championship spoilers come more and more to the picture as Nick Tarbuck will round out the top 5. Strong run last night, of course, in the Ignite Series, looking to go for back-to-back podiums if possible, as the number 5 machine, well, it's going to be the 5 spot, is held by the 4, and it's going to be that Chevy Camaro just beside your final championship 4 contender, Ross Cato, defending winner from Martinsville, a do-or-die night for Ross. He gets it done, and just like that, the 4th and final of your competitors will start in 6th with a 27.741. Jacob Fife is going to be starting in the 7th place, and number 36 machine is a 27.786 for Jacob Fife. 8th place is occupied by Don Stevenson, and 9th is then going to be Colin Gidman with a 27.863. To round out the top 10, Jorge Canales, the number 84, going to be there with a 28.065, and 11th place will be occupied by Eric McFarland with a 28.082. 12th place is going to be held by Kyle Cooper, 28.38 for the driver, the number 73. 13th and final qualifying time here in Phoenix is going to be Alan Rowell with a 28.45. And from there on out, the field goes as follows. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be starting 14th, Brad Patton going to be 15th, and Nicholas Ward will be in 16th, with John Steele the 17th and final qualifier of the year, wrapping out our 17-driver grid in the championship finale night. This is Phoenix Raceway, and this is the final grid of the Octane Series season in 2023. And taking one last look at that starting grid, now that all has been said and done in qualifying this season, it's going to be about the racing that's just ahead. Second practice is open right now. We're following with the number 2 machine of Sam Nito. As we mentioned, he was the driver who got it done and was able to win that first qualifying victory here in Phoenix in the Octane Series history just a few minutes ago, and having that advantage going from a big night of action. And of course, last night, which he was not a part of, he has some competitors here who do the double. He has not had to worry about that. All preparation, he's had a lot of time to build up to it, and it shows as the speed is remarkable so far. As it stands right now, looking at our timing screen, the driver, the number 2, is going to be only 4th on the charts right now, but the pole sitter is going to fade back to some championship rivals. Seth Noel is the fastest man on the timing sheets in this warm-up session with a 27.561. That's the best time he's put on so far. Tom Wetmore then going to be scored 2nd. Nick Tarbuck is going to be 3rd, and Sam Nito is in 4th. 5th place going to be held by Brad Patton, and 6th then Ross Cato. 10 drivers have taken the time so far, but none quicker than the Nexus Esports number 9 machine. And Seth Noel has a very good shot at the championship in his own regard. He's been one of the quickest drivers all season long, the first to lock himself into this final 4, so he's had more time than anyone else to truly prepare for this moment, and now he's made it to the dance. Time to finish off with style. 4 drivers with an opportunity, and right now they find themselves at the top of the timing sheets again. It's Seth Noel, the fastest driver here in second practice, and now one session remains. 156 laps, 156 miles, and we'll crown ourselves a champion in the final race of the tour. As the track goes empty one final time, drivers begin to populate on the track yet again. It's going to be Colin Gidman, and it looks like Nicholas Ward, the first true drivers there. But from there on out, you're also going to see Cody Smith making his way in, and very soon your pole sitter, the number 2 machine of Sam Nito, will also make it in as well. We got ourselves onboard cameras to watch all night long, of course, not only in the virtual sense, but we show you momentarily that we've got the physical cameras for these final 4 drivers at the same time. Now, taking a look at it, we're going to have it on the bottom right of your screen. It is your FTN battle camera, and tonight it's going to be repurposed with a brand new look. It's going to be virtual cameras, of course, on our end, but they do show the real sims for drivers such as Ross Cato, Tom Wetmore, and the number 18 machine. Cody Smith is exempt from it, but Sam Nito is not. So right now on the bottom right of your screen, you're going to see how our pole-sitting driver of Sam Nito takes care of this initial start as we get going. This time by qualifying is on the move, and we got ourselves a rolling starting grid one last time. And take a look at the bottom right of your screen, initializing the picture. Bottom right will show you the virtual reality headset in use for the number 2 machine of Sam Nito. Your pole sitter tonight does not have much to worry about in terms of qualifying position, but now has to capitalize on the advantage he's given himself. He's got that top spot, now needs to maintain it. The checkered flag is still miles away, as close as it is. 29 weeks of racing have led up to this point. 4 drivers remain. If you're here now, there's always a fair shot, and it ain't over till it's over. The biggest prize in Integrity Racing League history on the line tonight, and Sam Nito leads us down to the green flag to get things going one final time. Welcome to Championship Night in Phoenix. We're underway to round out the 2023 season. And Sam Nito going to be able to get it away quite well. You saw on the bottom right of your screen the camera for him, and that's what he's doing right now, slowly but surely making those adjustments to get the jump. And a virtual reality headset for the number 2 machine. It's as if he's inside the cockpit. We're not looking at his perspective from the VR sense. We are looking outside the rig at the physical of his setup. He's got the steering wheel, got the pedals, and got the headset, which makes up his entire sim, and now finds himself a race leader. We'll be looking at Sam alongside, of course, the remainder of our final 4 contenders. Tom Wetmore is going to be right now in 3rd, and for the driver who's been as dominant as ever all throughout the season, has fallen on some tougher times and had to limp his way into the final 4. Not the results he's wanted as of recent, particularly seeing multiple incidents in Martinsville, and now they're going to put them all beside him. He's had such a great regular season. Anything less than the final 4 will be a disappointment, but how stacked this field is, being here is an achievement at the same time. So as it stands, 4 laps in, Tom Wetmore going to be 3rd. We've also got to look at Ross Cato as the night goes on. He's the underdog driver, the dark horse, I'd say, when it comes to all the final 4, winning when it matters most, coming in clutch, and for Jacob Fife, who really thought he had a shot at it, it all got taken away as Ross was able to get that do-or-die position and win when it all came down to it. It was a very, very close battle on points, but tonight, points don't matter as much for the drivers up ahead. I mean, they don't matter for the final 4 at all. Right now, highest finisher wins the championship. That is it. There's no other game that's being played with it. Playoff points and all going to be exempt for the guys who are still in title contention. The win or the highest finishing position is what you need. So take, for instance, Sam Nito right now. He's winning the race. He's leading the race, shall we say. And if he does continue to lead until the very end, he will rack up a championship trophy and find himself a winner at the end of the night, not only of this race, but of the title. However, say for instance, it's these drivers like Sam Nito and on back. We're going to move Sam down to 10th, take Seth Well down to 11th, take Wetmore down to 12th, and take Ross Cato down to 13th. It doesn't matter they're not winning the race. Whoever of which has the highest finishing position is still a champion. They don't need to win a race. Technically, they don't need to win one on the season, but every driver inside their final 4 has won at least once throughout the campaign. Nito, Well, Tom Wetmore are all multi-time winners coming into tonight, and Ross Cato coming into this night is your defending winner, but that's his first win in Integrity Racing League competition, breaking through in the penultimate night of racing, and now puts himself in a spot to go at it. He's 4th place right now, and he's running just behind the remainder of the competition, so it's not over just yet. In fact, it's only just begun, and 8 laps in, your final 4 are all connected, 1st to 4th, in a 17-car field where everyone's mostly strung out. Cody Smith opts to go into the high side here, but nothing major being made in terms of moves. He'll stay there, let Ross Cato run him down the back straightaway as well, and now this is the newly repurposed front straightaways. You'll see they'll come down through a curved start-finish line and do it all over again for a lap 9 at a 156. As always, lap 9 going to be brought to you live on FTN by Tango Pace and Toll Owens' entire team, bringing high-quality iRacing liveries and paint schemes to the table since 2021. For an offer you can't beat, paint scheme prices start at $50 per paint. Check out Tango Paints on Twitter, spelled exactly as you see on the top right of your screen. That's Tango Paints, the official graphic design partner and supplier of Fireball Talks NASCAR Live, and we'll bring you your first promotional break of the night, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints on Twitter. Eleven laps in so far, Sam Needle finds himself the championship leader and the race leader alike, with Seth Noel still second, Tom Wentworth third, and Cody Smith then in fourth. That is your top four as it stands 11 laps in. Not a lot of action throughout the field. Your final four getting bundled up. Ross Cato, as a matter of fact, having a bit more trouble, fades back down to fifth as Jacob Fife is now clawing away at another opportunity to take a spot. BRTV and chat room, thank you for having yourself watching this one here. It's a thrilling race. I know you'll be live as well, so we'll be watching that one as soon as this race concludes. A lot of action on the iRacing scene tonight. I'll tell you this much, iRacing themselves, they're broadcasting the contender race, the FTN number 39 of Daniel Falkingham. I know he'll be in that one. He's fifth in the points right now, firmly in contention to go to the Coca-Cola iRacing Series, and FTN will carry the banner all season long as the official partner of Daniel Falkingham's number 39 ride. Now, Daniel Falkingham, a member of Nexus Esports, may be rooting on this number 9 we're watching, because for Seth Noel, Nexus Esports has been the driver and team combo that's led to a lot of success throughout 2023. Multiple victories and catching up night after night, week after week, making clutch performances happen when absolutely necessary. And even though he's been consistent on points, this number 9 machine has a tendency to win and a tendency to battle for the win until it is all said and done. Road course winner this season, in particular remembering Watkins Glen, his most recent road course victory, having some oval wins mixed in as well, and he's even been able to get it done in some very tricky tracks, having a strong performance at Talladega, helping Caitlin Height get to the victory there in the final turn. This number 9 machine is successful and quick no matter where he goes, so it's no telling what this kid can do, as it's Seth Noel running second right now. Unfortunately, we don't have a webcam perspective from him all night long. We'll be watching a lot, though, as all these final four guys are close to each other. Now, take a look at how down to the bottom Seth is going to take it. Way down low through the dogleg, and while it might look a bit silly, shall we say, to put it bluntly, that is a great strategy in cutting down distance throughout the lap. And it all depends on how you set up your car corner through corner. Let's take it to a wider camera, examine and explain that a bit further. They'll go through 1 and 2 this time by just about the same, keeping it all the way down nearly to the apron, and Sam Needle opts to keep it all the way up to the wall and take that wider run through. However, as you saw from Seth Noel there, he chooses to cut it a bit more shallow in exchange for dropping down to the bottom, cutting some of the distance lap after lap, and the hope is that that distance cutting down will mean more than having a bit more of a shallow exit, and hoping to get a bit more out of the car in the radius is what Sam Needle is doing. So it's a battle between a better exit on the corner and a slower lap time versus a faster lap time in theory, less distance to travel in exchange for giving away that exit, which is a trade-off you got to think about, especially in how you drive the car, because not only is it about the practicality of doing one or the other, but in addition, got to think about tires, got to think about fuel. That's all going to come into play tonight. The Integrity Racing League seeing many long green flag nights, and tonight should be one of those many. I mean, the way things are going, 17 laps in, we have a very strong opening run. That can change, but right now, no signs of such, as Seth Noel takes it down to the bottom once again. He cuts in about a 1/10 of a second at that lead every time he drops down low, but his big issue right now is maintaining that cut, although it looks like he does a very good job that time through. Last time around was a 4/100th of a second faster lap for Seth. 18 laps in, the deficit is still about 3/10 at the stripe every time. Sam Needle is quicker through every portion of the track, with the exception of that dogleg. He gets a bit loose that time by, gonna give Seth a shot down low, and just like that, Sam's gonna correct his line, and now to separation of 61 thousandths of a second. Now it's gonna be the number 9 machine leading the championship battle. One slight bobble switches it up, and a new race leader with a new man on top of the championship picture. 1-2, different order. Sam Needle fades back to second, and he won't go out without a bang. Goes back down to the bottom side, looks to take that lead right back in his hands. At the line, he does so, and will have the inside going into the dogleg, which he uses, and so does Seth, side by side once again. Now, Tom Wetmore also going to be right there in the third place, and Wetmore finds himself watching the battle, hoping these guys make a mistake. Now, with how aggressive both Sam Nito and Seth Noel have been all throughout the season, they are usually calm and aggressive, but at the same time, if you risk too much, it's going to come back to bite you no matter how fair you play it. Tom Wetmore hoping to see a bit more chaos right ahead of him, because if he loses that championship competition ahead, he'll only have to worry about guys like Ross Cato and company behind. Now, Ross Cato's fifth, by all means, a very strong run, but not enough for the time being to make something happen in the championship. He's fifth and last of all the final four drivers. Sam Nito still going to lead the way, has a 0.2 of a second edge, and Tom Wetmore is going to be third, watching Seth Well still in that runner-up spot. Look further back right now, we see mostly going to be all separate in single file. You'll see Don Stevenson right now is going to be 10th. Brad Patton is 9th. Nicholas Ward is 8th. Nick Tarbuck is going to be in 7th. And Jacob Fife is 6th. So that's going to be the bulk of the big group right now, right behind your leaders, as Eric McFarland now goes to battle with Colin Gibbon. This is the battle for the 12th place. Colin Gibbon has it, and Eric McFarland wants it. Eric is going to try to get that run as they go through the straightaway here. But Colin Gibbon holds on to his spot and keeps it that way, at least for the time being. It's the closest battle on the racing track, at least for now, and of course that can change, but so far it hasn't. Sam Nito finds himself the race leader once again with some brief competition, but it looks like that's only going to be seen in bursts as the number 2 once again gets out of the race lead and finds himself advantageous. He's actually gaining more time that time around, makes it a 0.4 of a second deficit, and at the line it stays that way and even slightly grows. So Seth Noel second, Tom Wetmore third, Cody Smith fourth, 5th place Ross Cato, and the 6th man gonna then be Nick Tarbuck. Keep an eye out for your drivers not in championship contention. Cody Smith once again finds himself as the highest position driver who is not inside the championship picture, and now hopes to keep it up there as he's gonna be fighting with Tom Wetmore to maybe get inside of the podium here. And it's a bit of a dilemma for a guy like Cody Smith and all the other red label drivers who are not eligible for the championship. How do you drive with these 4 drivers who are up front here if you happen to be in the mix with them, happen to battle with them for a spot? How do you race them when you're on the same lap? Now, it's no question how you should do it when you're a lap machine, of course, respect, and in all honesty, you're going to have to somehow, some way submit to the leaders. But now, if you're fighting for spots, do you treat these guys with a bit more respect, let them go, have their line, or do you race them the exact same way? And maybe the drivers who are inside the final 4, they won't like that, but you're doing it the exact same way you've done it before, so in all honesty, it's no change. That's going to be a big dilemma for the drivers like Cody Smith and his company, as they have to figure out how they should approach these top running drivers, as John Steele comes down to pit road this time by. Steele's the first driver down to pit road, and the first pit stop on the day does not look to be scheduled. The reason is there's going to be a caution. Brad Patton goes around that time by, and with Patton spinning, yellow flag flies for the first time here, 26 laps in of 156. Yellow flag is out this time by, first caution of the day, and it's going to be Brad Patton the cause. Number 1 machine usually going to bring the number 5 tonight, and Hendrick Carr's Chevrolet goes around spinning, which brings out the yellow for the first instance in our championship night. Taking a look right now, Brad Patton as he goes through the dog leg. Didn't look to be any trouble there, was not with John Steele, who came down to pit road. It looks like Brad's going to touch the apron, try to keep it going, gets loose, spins it, and a safety yellow immediately comes out. Caution flies, and 27 laps in, that is the way they roll. It's now going to be Brad Patton down to 16th, and some of the field already coming down to pit road. Jacob Fife has some company, but the top 5 drivers, particularly your drivers inside the final 4, opt to stay out, with Fife, Stevenson, Alvarez, Jorge Canales, Alan Rawell, Kyle Cooper, and Brad Patton all coming in. John Steele 2 laps down, and he's going to get bailed out getting that yellow flag, but I don't think he's going to be back on the circuit anytime soon. Yellow flag flies. Sam Nito, your race leader. Seth Noel going to be second. Tom Wetmore third, and Cody Smith in fourth. That's the way they run. 28 laps in of 156, and going through the dog leg once again. Sam has had control for the majority of this night. And a quick start for this number 2 team. The best thing they could possibly have in their back pocket is a fast car. Right now, this Ford Mustang looks to be one of the quickest of the field, if not the absolute quickest. Once again, bottom right of your screen shows your race leader, Sam Nita, right now with the virtual reality headset on, immersed in the picture. And right now, he's going through it each and every lap, through the motions in full detail. Not much movement right now. I'm going to take it as a slight left turn in and going to on going here before all gets back on the way. It's going to be the number 2 in the first position. Seth Well, the 9, are going to be runner-up. Tom Wetmore's Tube Tech number 51 is in 3rd, and Ross Cato is going to be down to 5th right now, with Cody Smith, the buffer for Next Level Racing, right in between. Sam Nito, 29 laps in, still has the advantage, and it's going to be Noel in 2nd. Still there, as right now, your 4 drivers inside the Final 4 are all inside of the top 5. Lowest running is 5th place Ross Cato, but still by all means not a bad position to be running in. Just has some time to keep on improving, knowing that 5th place is not enough right now. It looks like you've got to lead the race, and you've got to win the race. So can't win, it's going to be done deal, because the championship win is also going to coincide with the race win tonight, the way things have gone. So far, so good. One caution, going to be a safety spin, and we're going to come back to green at the end of lap number 30. Sam Nito leads us through 29 in, with Seth Well 2nd, Tom Wetmore 3rd, Cody Smith 4th, and Ross Cato still there 5th. Nick Tarbuck is going to be in 6th, Nicholas Ward is 7th, Colin Gibbon is 8th, and Eric McFarland is in 9th, with your pit road winner Jacob Fife rounding at the top 10 as it stands. That's going to be going to lap number 30. Your top 10 comprised of 9 drivers who opt to stay out on the track, and 1 other driver. Of course, Jacob Fife, the man who leads them all down at pit road, gets out first as well. Coming through this time by, it's going to be, of course, double file. First time tonight, we have ourselves a double file restart. The pace car lights are off, and we're going to be set to go next time by end of lap 30. Now with the pace car diving in this time by, it's going to be Sam Nito and Seth Well, 2 of your championship 4, set to light the fuse and get things going. Once again, successful run, especially for Sam Nito, getting those early laps out in front. But now the question is, what has a guy like Seth Well learned? What has Tom Wetmore seen as the driver right behind the battle? And can Ross Cato maybe build up a bit more speed on this run to fight with the best of them and continue his juggernaut run into the Final 4? Green flag flies yet again for Sam Nito, leading the way. Green flags out for restart number 1 in Phoenix. One man is going to be in the wall already. That's going to be Jacob Fife. No caution flies because no driver spins, but Fife has substantial damage up on the right side, and it's going to be 1 driver around, and Kyle Cooper down on pit road. Going to be a tricky circumstance to call. No verdict by the admins, as you'll see Kyle Cooper come in, but 2 successive incidents. No caution going to be called. It's going to be trouble all throughout the field, going to be sporadically occurring. Jacob Fife is the first instance, and Kyle Cooper is the second. Take it back and watch right now and find out what happens here, as some early trouble keeps us out of the caution. It's going to be a few incidents at once, and Jacob Fife involved in the first. So 36 machine gets things going, and through the dog leg they go, all's well. And Stevenson comes up, rocket ship with the brakes, and that's going to lead the 36 of Fife all the way up to the track. Kyle Cooper goes down the apron to try to avoid it. He gets hit by the wall and comes right back up, stays right by pit road territory, and as a result, both drivers come down to pit road. Fife is going to be on his way right now. He'll be set to go 1 lap down. Kyle Cooper's 1 down as well, and just like that, Sam Nito is the leader once again, but this time, Tom Wetmore's in 2nd, and Wetmore, looking better than ever, finds himself in the catbird seat, 33 laps in of 156. Now, there's still a ways to go when it comes to how this race is going to play out, but running up in front and getting those laps in, that's what it's all about, getting the repetition up ahead of the pack. And right now for Tom Wetmore, he's seen victory lane over 5 times within the past year in the Integrity Racing League's competition. 5 times the Octane Series, and he knows what it's like. Success is common for this crew. And right now, they're going to try to keep things going for one final race, and the pressure is a bit of a different circumstance. Now, Tom Wetmore's last win came as a regular season finale, and that was going to be, of course, a big slide up for Wetmore. Does he save it? That he does. Once, twice, and keeps it on the apron. Tom Wetmore keeps it going, and that could have been a disaster. He'll scrub the tires, but he keeps the car in good shape. Man, oh man, Tom Wetmore keeps it through, and only to find contact once again. He slides up once. He's going to keep on wiggling. Man, oh man, for Wetmore, that's got to be a heartbreaker, and luckily he keeps it going, but now he's going to have a hell of a harder time getting back up there. He finds himself in the 10th position. Wetmore fades way back now, and it's trouble as he fades past the single digits. Tom Wetmore puts it all back into motion, but that's a huge loss of spot, and you just can't have that happen here, as it's going to be Nick Tarbuck coming down a pit road this time by. Instant replay would show you a bit more on the matter here, because Tom Wetmore really had to fight the car to keep things going, and Seth Well gets to the back bumper and will send that number 51 sliding, and you can see that could have been caution in itself. That's why Nick Tarbuck went down a pit road, and man, it's a huge chain reaction. Luckily not a caution, but many drivers making contact in the same instance leads us to this point. Wetmore tries to go down low. Seth Well already had it, and Tom keeps his foot in it and keeps on driving, gets it down to the apron, keeps things loose, and then gets things straight. Alvarez taps Ward, taps Nick Tarbuck, then Galen Gidman gets going, only to see a little more contact from Jorge Canales, because Gidman locks up and sends the 84 up to Wetmore. They're going bumper cars throughout the field. Luckily, it's no major issue, but that could have been substantially worse, as Tom Wetmore eventually settles down in 11th here, and this gives Sam Nito a lot more room to breathe. Take a look at this number 2, out in front by a huge amount now. Seth Well going to be second, Ross Cato going to be now 5th, and Tom Wetmore all the way down to the 11th place, not all where he'd like to be. I'll tell you this much, we'll bring up the bottom right camera once again, this time looking at Tom Wetmore, see what's going on here as he tries to wrestle the car back into competition. Tom Wetmore, certainly not a good circumstance to be a part of. Luckily kept it straight. That thing could have gone around. We could have seen a caution, but you do not in any case want to throw that yellow flag out or have a reason to, because for Tom Wetmore, even if the yellow flag was called for him, imagine he ends up spinning, and imagine someone is to T-bone him or hit him in any other way. That you just can't have happen, and if it did, that's disaster. Now, you're looking at Tom Wetmore in the bottom right of your screen there, and as you can see, Wetmore still wrestling with the equipment as it stands. We're going to actually make sure our iRacing watermark doesn't interfere with the camera you're seeing there. That's a bit of a cleaner look at Tom Wetmore. As you see, despite the trouble, he's back, focused once again, getting back into the rhythm, and that's exactly what you gotta do despite such a major problem. And it was admittedly a mistake in terms of both drivers going down for the same real estate. Nobody's calling each other off here, but you just got to put it behind you right now, knowing there's still an opportunity, and you still got to chase success, even if it looks to be far out of reach right now. Might not be the case when all is said and done. So Tom Wetmore gets back into it, gets in the groove, and keeps things going. This time by 42. Laps in 156, and Brad Patton finds himself the race leader now. All of a sudden, it's the new tires kicking in. For Patton, he's on a much younger set, and the caution actually benefits him. He was the reason for the first yellow flag, spinning out of control down to the apron, and now finds himself the leader with a much quicker car than anyone else on track. It's a playoff spoiler, and Brad Patton finding himself the race leader 43 laps in. Sam Nito drops to second, Seth Well is there in third, and it looks like in the early stages of this race, this is where our top battle is going to be. Seth Well and Sam Nito. These two drivers have been the best of the best to this point, and they stay the exact same distance, about 2/10 worth all throughout. And with the advantage not as clear as it was before, you'll see cutting down to the apron once again. Dogleg driving for Seth Well down the bottom side. That's going to cut the gap down to just under 2/10 of a second for a brief moment. Gets at about 19/100ths, then extends once again. Cody Smith also going to be in the mix too, so keep an eye out for him. Cody Smith and the number 18 in the 4th place right now has been running very well as a playoff spoiler all throughout the final 2 rounds, winning the opener for the round of 8 at Kentucky, and has continued to be a thorn in the side of these championship contenders. Your 2022 Integrity Racing League champion, while not eligible for the title this season, is showing that if he has a chance next time around, he'll certainly fight for a Final Four spot and maybe give himself a chance at the title all throughout. But Guillermo Alvarez now finds himself in 4th. Alvarez on the same tire strategy, and for Guillermo, he's going to be now up to 4th. It's going to be Don Stevenson up into 6th. Jorge Canales is 7th, and it looks like now Jacob Fife is going to be 11 laps down. He was on the same strategy, has not worked out to this point. Brad Patton's got a much bigger advantage now of 2 seconds over Sam Nito, but Nito still leads the championship race, so that's how it's going to go. It is your current race leader in Brad Patton, your current championship leader in Sam Nito. The blue drivers are the ones that are eligible for the championship. The red drivers are eligible for everything but the championship. The race win, extra points in terms of leading those laps and all of that, but they're just not eligible to come home with the championship no matter where they finish. The Final Four playoff format he used here in the Octane Series has whittled us down to our only 4 competitors left, and right now Sam Nito has been the best of them so far, 47 laps in. If he's not led the laps, he's been the one leading his championship rivals, as Guillermo Alvarez now tucks in down low, looking for the 2nd place of his own, and now the 83 machine takes that spot away. Runner-up spot is going to be for Guillermo Alvarez, takes it down to the dog legs apron, and has a chance through the first turn. Makes it in this time by quickly for Guillermo Alvarez. It's up to 2nd place and leaving Sam Nito behind, not by much just yet, but slowly but surely, all the fuel we've put into the dust as Don Stevenson also comes through at the same time. And drivers are beginning to make those big moves up in the front of the field, not only in terms of the championship battle, but in terms of strategy. So this is the biggest call made so far. Some drivers opting to come down to pit road during that first yellow flag, and right now it's paying off in dividends. The first run, very successful to this point for Stevenson and the like, getting those extra tires and making spots up as Sam Nito's got trouble. And right now he is not connected on our server. Is that officially the case? It looks like it is not, but we do not see his number 2 machine anywhere on the track, and this throws another wrench in the equation if it is indeed the case. Sam Nito is not on the circuit at all. 50 laps in of 156. We do not see him anywhere, but iRacing is not officially confirmed in disconnection. Now, we're hoping that's not going to be the case any longer, but he would be in this frame with the other drivers we're looking at. This could be make or break for the championship, and Sam Nito, who was leading almost every lap of the night to this point, has disconnected, and his internet's going to go out on him, upload, packet loss, and just like that, Seth Well has been gifted the championship lead, and it's gone topsy-turvy all over again. It looks like Sam Nito is going to be almost out of championship contention with an internet failure, and that's going to be huge to keep an eye out for. That's almost like a mechanical failure in the real world. You cannot have that internet go out, because if it goes out, iRacing is not forgiving in the slightest. It's going to take laps away from Sam if he's got anything left, and now from being the race leader up in front fighting for that championship, he's now not even in the session, 2 laps down. This is a much different scenario, and just like that, things are going to change. If this number 9 machine is Seth Well can keep things going, he's in a much better place for the championship in his own right, and it's going to take a lot for guys like Ross Cato or Tom Wetmore to make it back up. But for Wetmore, this might be a saving grace given how quick Sam Nito was. He was on par with Seth Well. He was up there with Ross Cato, so if there's a yellow flag, which there will be very soon, he'll have a chance to get back up there, regroup, and recoup his losses, and get back up in the front of the field with maybe a different strategy getting him there. We'll see how he tries to play it out. Caution will fly, and very soon he'll have that opportunity to re-bunch up, as Sam Nito, we're currently watching our iRacing connection logs, has indeed chosen to connect once again. So that was not a manual disconnection. He was automatically forced out by iRacing, and just like that, the championship race changes once more. Don Stevenson going to be fighting right now with Guillermo Alvarez for 2nd. Seth Well is your new championship leader, and the Final Four sees one driver disconnect mid-race, and it's a huge shift as such. I mean, I'll tell you this much, it's heartbreak for that number 2 machine. If this really is going to be the deal breaker, he's 4 laps down, fast connection back, but really nothing more can be done right now besides clawing back and hopefully getting those laps. We've seen with cases like Nicholas Ward in number 97, for instance, he's had several races where he's disconnected with major internet troubles. He's been given laps back. With the championship for here and now, we'll see whether or not that's going to be the case. Yellow flag will fly within the next 25 laps as a competition caution. So not all hope is lost, however, certainly going to shatter some confidence as Cody Smith finds himself not too far behind Seth Noel, and Cody Smith is still on old tires here, but running very well with the best of them. And for Cody Smith and Next Level Racing, it's a match made in heaven. These two mean a lot in terms of the significance in the Integrity Racing League and their partnership with Next Level Racing. Now, Cody Smith coming into this season is our defending 2022 champion, and Next Level Racing, of course, as we've seen, high-quality sim racing performance products and the official primary partner of the Integrity Racing League. So with this huge prize on display, why not have the best driver from last year come through to carry the banner for Next Level Racing? And he's done so very, very well, winning in playoff competition. He has been the big playoff spoiler, and if he was still with a chance, he would technically be second right now in terms of the championship running, right behind Seth Noel. If Cody Smith just had a better opening round, might have been up there fighting for a championship. Now, it's a hypothetical, but it could have happened. Just didn't go his way in the later stages of the round of 12. Just couldn't make it happen at the Charlotte Roval. Had trouble there, and it was too much, too late. There's nothing more that could be done. Now Cody Smith sits on the sidelines this season, and he's waiting for another chance in 2024. No doubt he's got the speed, just has to execute in that early round, and he'll go on a tear, because these tracks, the last few in particular, like Martinsville, like Phoenix we're at right now, like a track indeed such as Kentucky, they've been the best tracks for Cody Smith in the final leg of the tour. He's only gotten stronger and has been able to run up there top 5 after top 5 consistently, despite woes at tracks like the Charlotte Roval to kick off the playoff picture. And Talladega is always unpredictable as well. You just can't bet on a good finish at Talladega. You can think about a good finish, you can try to get yourself one, but if it doesn't play out with a pack or the field around you, you really can't guarantee anything until the checkered flag falls and maybe a few penalties are served. 60 laps in, and Brad Patton finds himself the race leader. Second place going to be Don Stevenson, and third's Guillermo Alvarez, with Seth Noel fourth and Cody Smith rounding out the top 5. How's about we take a lap on board with your current race leader and Brad Patton as he leads it through in the final race of 2023. And you'll see right now for Brad Patton, his season-long number does indeed correspond to his current running position. First place for the number 1 machine that we've seen almost the entirety of the season. Didn't play out all too well in the opening round. He was not able to make the first few races, and as a result, Brad Patton's season was not able to come through as a championship contender. Now, all the same, Patton has had race-winning speed, has not yet gotten it done, but still a very fair shot tonight if all plays out with his strategy. He's playing only 35 laps on his tire, compared to a guy like Seth Noel or Cody Smith who have 62 on their rubber. Not many drivers are going for this younger tire strategy, and it might not pay off given the way we're going to have a competition yellow. But if there's one caution after that halfway break or so, there might just be a chance to get this strategy moving. As we mentioned, 63 laps in, we're getting the competition yellow flag, and Brad Patton, for the final time this season, comes home as a stage winner, and Patton gets it done at the stripe. It's going to be Patton, your stage winner here in Phoenix, and from there on out, you'll see Don Stevenson is going to be second, Guillermo Alvarez is third, Seth Noel is your championship leader at the stage break, and Cody Smith will be fifth, with Jorge Canales sixth, Ross Cato seventh, Nicholas Ward eighth, Eric McFarland ninth, and Colin Gidman rounding out the top 10. Now, we're going to have to watch out what happens with Sam Nito here. We'll also look at what's going to be for Tom Wetmore. As two drivers early in the going have some struggles with their strategy, pit road gets busy and Brad Patton leads them in. For the first time on pit road for many of your leading contenders, the field gets back down in, and Brad Patton, 64 laps in, has the advantage as they enter pit road for the first time in Avondale, Arizona. Now, drivers coming in this time by pit road exit camera are going to be showing you exactly what happens here as the money stop is still laps, I'd say about 60-odd laps away, similar to what we've seen right now. And 65 laps in, drivers get their first taste of pit road, and it spans a large majority of the doglegs entry, as it's going to be Brad Patton out first, to be followed then by Jorge Canales. Third is going to be Cody Smith, and their championship leader after pit stops is Ross Cato, with Cato making a big jump. Ross gets it all the way up in the fourth, and just like that, Eric McFarland is due to follow, and that he does. Tom Wetmore is going to be on pit road with Seth Noel, and they're both waiting it out right now, so we'll see how long they have to stay until they get back going. Ross Cato makes a big jump, though, and now it's going to be Ross up into fourth. Don Stevenson just gets out of pit road to go into eighth, and it looks like now Seth Noel is going to be not on the way. Don Stevenson is, Tom Wetmore is not. It's going to be back and forth, half and half, and the 47 gets things moving as Brad Patton will lead the field. This time by lap machines include Nick Tarbuck and Jacob Fife. Now, Sam Nito is getting his laps back at full speed right now. Take a look at the number 2 machine. Sam Nito's got that opportunity to get those laps back, return to being up there with the leaders. It was an internet disconnection, so as a result, he's exempt from normal lap car policy, and given the weight of the championship 4 scenario, he'll get that extra chance and return back with the leaders before the restart gets in motion. The final stage of the 2023 campaign, Seth Noel is going to be the driver who did come in as the leader, but now it's going to be Ross Cato. Of all the drivers inside your Final Four, the biggest advantage before we get back for restart number 2 on the night. To watch us, of course, on FTN, you're watching quite a lot going on. The main feed on your screen and the bottom right has been coming alive with multiple videos of your drivers inside the championship mix. For this restart in particular, we'll focus on Ross Cato and see what's going on with him, making sure our systems have been loaded up, and that we do. Ross Cato we're going to be looking at next, and this time by the number 12 machine going to be all we're watching as they come through this time by 66 laps in out of 156, and just like that, Ross Cato going to be the man to watch on the restart, and we're trying to make sure his camera link is working. Looks like it is, and now we'll have yourselves an onboard view yet again, courtesy of our Final Four contenders in Ross Cato, Tom Wetmore, and Sam Nito. The bottom right of your screen will come alive all night long, and the FTN battle camera will give you a special insider look at all the action on the track here in Phoenix. Ross Cato for Fast Forward Esports has that advantage, and 67 laps in, going on 68, is the driver in the Final Four with the lead as they go through this time by. It took a gutsy strategy call at Martinsville to win the race last week, and now trying to make another gutsy strategy call to win the championship. Stakes are multiplying week after week for Ross Cato, and going from only a podium finish as his best just 2 weeks ago, now with a chance of the championship, he'll lead his championship rivals into the restart zone. This time by Brad Patton gets the jump and will lead us back to the green flag with Cato not too far behind. We're back on our way in the final stage of 2023. And now as the drivers get going, going to be a number 5 machine ran by Brad Patton, the leading driver. Patton keeps it there, and 69 laps in, a very nice start for him, as Cody Smith is going to run not too far behind in second. It's going to be playoff spoilers in the top 2 spots. Catbird seat held by Cody Smith. Brad Patton again the leader, and Ross Cato making the big moves to get up there in a second. Now down to third. Either way, great start for Cato, making that riskier call, going to give him that advantage in track position, and as we've seen all throughout the night, track position is the most important factor on this track. Phoenix Raceway going to be challenging to pass on no matter where you go. Unless you're blatantly quicker, you just can't make it happen. Now, Sam Nito's going to get back down, only one lap down, so he's only going to have to worry about one other caution coming out on the night. However, in that first stage, we only saw one caution, period. So maybe there's a bit more to worry about for him than we were expecting to see. As it stands, Sam Nito's got to keep a pretty wheel, not worry about that, and focus on what is next. Stay calm, keep the car straight and under control, and they'll have a chance to win. It all comes down to the final laps here in Phoenix. Brad Patton and Cody Smith fighting for their own meeting. Brad Patton wants his first win of the season, and Cody Smith wants to carry that title of being the best in the playoff spoiler category. He's been that driver all throughout the season to this point, and all throughout the final few rounds, Cody Smith has shown his waist in race-winning potential, and he keeps it that way as the next level racing machine drops down low using the dog leg himself. Now, since the drivers get strung out once again, let's take it back to our wide-angle shot and show you a bit more about how the final four drivers run their laps time after time. Now, individually speaking, we'll look at Ross Cato first and go down in position order to understand who goes where throughout a lap here in Phoenix. We'll take the next 4 or 5 laps to analyze the situation as Cato comes up and gets that much wider exit. Gonna take it down low. He actually takes it very close to the high side. Seth well when he was taken through the dog leg, cut down sharply, but Ross Cato tries to go natural down to the dog leg and come back up to use that bottom groove, and it'll get him by Brad Patton that time around. Now going, of course, wide as they head into the front straightaway. They'll have to take it through the curve once again, and that's where Tom Wetmore, who currently finds himself 5th, comes into play. And for Tom Wetmore, it looks like he's going to go even higher than Ross Cato did that time around, using it all the way up to the top, then dropping down low, keeps that momentum free-flowing, and goes down to the bottom side, all the way down nearly to the apron. You don't want to make contact with the apron, but the closer you get, the better you will be. So very close. Precision is a must, and that's how Tom Wetmore opts to run it. And then from there, you'll also see Seth Well not too far behind the number 51 machine, and a similar style in running the track, and it looks like nearly mimicking the number 51 in its entirety. This time a very shallow entry in, and they're going to go into the dog leg, but only just to try to keep that speed on for Seth Well. He'll try to use all the banking, and the more banking through the corner, the more power you can put down without fear. At 75 laps in, he's got a much better run down the front straightaway, just enough to catch up to Wetmore even more, and it looks like despite the troubles early, Tom Wetmore back in the top 5, and only needs to make it by Ross Cato the way things are looking, as still Sam Nito has some struggles, finds himself going nearly down to the pit exit line and gets back up once again. Most drivers running a very typical style right now. Sam Nito stays a little bit higher through turns 1 and 2, not as much down to the bottom as opposed to his rivals and contenders in the championship, but still a very solid form. As coming around this time by, it's going to be a total of 80 laps remaining. It's the Next Level Racing number 18, advantageous. The sun is no longer shining, and Ross Cato is still your championship leader with 80 laps left. For the drivers, of course, this is the most nerve-wracking night of the season, and everyone knows if you're in the picture right now, you've got to keep on going until it's all said and done. Tom Wetmore knows how quick he was earlier in the going as opposed to Ross Cato. But Ross makes that move, and it's the best move he could possibly make. Instead of laying back, letting the strategy take him wherever he was going, he makes that change, gets a much faster pit stop, and that's going to be the pit call that really saves him from everything else. If he faded back further, didn't have the track position, he'd be mired in the pack fighting with guys like Tom Wetmore and Seth Well. Now they're fighting each other, which gives Ross Cato a chance to run away even more, and now the number 12 machine is even closer to a potential title, halfway down this time by and halfway to go. It's now going to be only 78 laps remaining and 78 laps completed. The halfway marker in the final race of the tour is here and now, and the championship race has gone 50% of the distance. Unbelievable to see this one because Cody Smith is out in front, and as we always mention here in FTN, Cody Smith representing NextLevelRacing.com, the high quality performance partner of the Integrity Racing League and the official partner of the championship prize for the Octane Series. For high-quality sim racing rigs and performance products since 2009, Next Level Racing has had you covered for all of your sim racing needs, no matter what sim you choose to race on, no matter what discipline of racing you choose to participate in. Next Level Racing is your one-stop shop for all of your sim racing needs, and check them out after tonight's broadcast at nextlevelracing.com for more information about how you can get yourself involved with the Next Level Racing family. We'll bring you your first promotional break of the night courtesy of nextlevelracing.com and bring you back with 76 laps to go. Cody Smith of Next Level Racing leads the way in a 2023 championship finale. With 74 laps remaining, Cody Smith finds himself up in front with 83 laps in the books. Ross Cato's your championship leader with half a second to spare. The lead battle doesn't matter as much right now, and Ross Cato knows he's got a lot of buffer to deal with, and that's a great feeling, knowing how much time you got behind you to make things happen. And now this is one of those situations that only comes up in the playoffs, and if Ross Cato does get this championship, it's a perfect explanation of how every race matters that much more when you got the playoffs in mind compared to the regular season. Now, if Ross Cato had to fight and claw his way in the regular season in this situation, it'll be so much harder because not every driver's made every race. Even guys in your Final Four like Tom Wentworth have not made every race this season. And despite the fact that they've been so successful, that attendance matters a lot more in the full season format. Now, tonight, with the opportunity to have missed a few races and make that minimum participation requirement, drivers who have had to step back from the sim throughout the year yet a chance to fight through and make their way up. Now, for Tom Wentworth, who did not make every race of the regular season, has been here almost every week since, he's been able to turn it on and keep that consistency with attendance in mind. But Ross Cato right now coming in clutch, and his ability to finally make it happen, not only at Martinsville, but maybe tonight, will really be the defining moment of his championship run if it comes to fruition. Riding once again on board with the number 12 machine of Ross Cato in the real world, here's a look at his racing setup, and you'll see tonight, he's not running a virtual reality headset, he's running a monitor. We don't see it on the screen. You will see, though, the steering wheel and all the inputs he's making as he continues to wheel around this circuit with 70 laps to go. 70 laps remaining this time by for Ross Cato, advantageous as he comes across the stripe yet again. Front stretch, he's got it all up ahead of him, and so far so good for Ross, as he has now time to spare behind. Seth Wells going to find himself in the 4th spot. Tom Wetmore drops down to 6. It's going to be a lot of room to keep on going for Ross Cato. Just has to stay calm, and that will be the defining factor, the remaining laps. Keeping your calm, knowing anything could happen. And for Tom Wetmore, even though he's gotten some pressure now from guys like Nicholas Ward, it's far from over as well. You just cannot give up in this position. There's no scenario where giving up is the right thing to do, especially with still over 60 laps to go. There's time to spare, and there's time to make mistakes, have things change. Things will happen on the racetrack that might go your way and might not. Cautions could fly. We could see a pit cycle go awry. It could be strategy that comes into play naturally or artificially that changes things. Now, only one scheduled caution, but if a lap machine gets involved with the leader, if there's something of the sort where a driver goes around spinning, everything changes, and just like that, we could have ourselves a whole new race. Now, I'm sure for Ross Cato right now as the race leader in the championship fight, he would love to keep things going green till the end. He's showing no signs of stopping, makes it by the lap machine of Jacob Fife. Brad Patton is about 2 seconds back in third, let alone the Sam Nito machine is going to be way back a lap down. Seth Wells about 3.5 seconds behind your leader and just about 3 full seconds behind Ross Cato. So really, this is the best place to be in right now if you are that number 12. Even if you're not leading the race, it is a best finisher championship. The highest finisher in the Final Four will win the title no matter what. Doesn't matter who wins the race, no matter how they win the race. It all comes down to whoever the Final Four labeled in blue has that highest finishing position. Right now, that would be Ross Cato running in second with Seth Well in fourth and Tom Wetmore then in sixth, and then Sam Nito in 13th. Only one retiree on the night so far in Kyle Cooper. John Steele has been on pit road for 67 laps here, so I'm not quite sure. It might be a start and park campaign for him. But as we approach, slowly but surely, the triple digits one final time. Most drivers have been spread out for a while now, no major battles, but Tom Wetmore has been facing it from Nicholas Ward. And you'll see now the number 51 machine on the back bumper perspective, how far it's been for the number 97 machine, Nicholas Ward, to claw back up. It's taken him a lot of time, and now they're as close as it can get. And Ward's going to take it down low for a visit down the bottom side. Wetmore tries to defend, knowing what he's got at stake. He's got to keep on going. Even if it's a challenge to defend, you just have to do it. Keep on fighting no matter what. But now you'll see off the frame, Nicholas Ward takes it side by side, and dead even they'll be. Number 97 goes way down low, and they'll be side by side as they come down the front straightaway. And Wetmore cannot afford to lose any more positions if we stay green. Sixth place right now puts him third in the championship. Seth Well remains the fourth place driver, who is second in the championship race, and still it is Ross Cato, so even positions, but they're every other spot away. It's going to be Ross Cato second, Seth Well fourth, and Wetmore then sixth. Take a look at a few other battles on the track, though. Don Stevenson's making up time right now. That time through, Stevenson was quicker by about 0.4 of a second as opposed to Nicholas Ward. So maybe Don can get himself in the mix and fight as well, as Nicholas Ward stays right within Tom Wetmore's confines and can't make it by. Don Stevenson is the one who has a bit more of an advantage with cleaner air until he gets inside that mix. 62 laps remain this time by. Pit cycles have not yet been discussed. However, the way things are going, if we stay under green, one more pit stop will be required no matter what. So estimates are saying that if we stay under green, we'll see pit stops between laps 110 and lap 120. About a 10-lap window for drivers to come in, depending on how hard they wore out their stuff, depending on how much they put in to split up the remainder of this one and keep things even until the very end. So it's going to be all about keeping that strategy in play, as it looks like right now the drivers continue to run under green cleanly. It looks like Jorge Canales comes in way earlier than the rest, and 30 laps in, Jorge Canales is in this time through, and you'll tell, of course, how early he came in by the stint number. Now, given how long we've been under green, we've been on for about 30 laps, he only has a 30-lap run. However, the maximum we've seen so far is about 60, so it could be Jorge Canales making that early stop to split it up and get himself the cleaner and younger tires early. Alan Rawell looks to be coming close down to pit road, doesn't choose to officially seal the deal, but Jorge Canales going to put in your first competitive pit stop of this run under green with 60 laps remaining. Makes that first move, and now the drivers are going to be put on notice as Cody Smith leads the way lap 98. He's got himself another lap led and could be en route to a second win within the last 5 races. Ross Cato going to be second, Brad Patton third, and Seth Well then fourth, as Colin Gidman now rounds out the top 5, cycling up there into the 5th place, and Nicholas Ward is 6th, Tom Wetmore 7th, Don Stevenson 8th, Eric McFarland 9th, and the top 10 now concluded by Alan Rawell. Rawell is going to be there, and the final driver on the lead lap, 13 seconds back, and Alan Rawell might be able to come home with a top 10 finish the way all things are looking, as the 43 Spam machine runs just beyond the confines of the single digits where McFarland and then the battle between Wetmore and Stevenson take place. Now, Tom Wetmore is seriously losing a lot more time, and while it might not look like major damage, take a look at the back bumper for Tom Wetmore as he takes it for an overhead drone shot here. You'll see that number 51 has some scuffing on the right side, and aerodynamically speaking, he is not 100%. You can see the rear spoiler popping out just a bit, so it means that Wetmore not running at full capacity right now. And that damage early might have set him out of sorts. 100 laps into the triple digits this time by, and 57 laps remain as Cody Smith is advantageous all the same. No change right now for Cody Smith. Seth Well going to be chasing down Brad Patton once again. How we ride on board inside the number 9 cockpit and see how it is for him to chase down number 5 of Brad Patton. And for Seth Well, gaining a bit more time here on Patton, knowing that if he can make it by Brad Patton, there's a better opportunity to make it by for the lead ahead of Ross Cato. However, still, that gap is clearly more than he'd like it to be. I mean, Seth Well is still about 2 seconds back on Ross Cato, and even though he is quicker time after time when he's in clean air, right now with that dirty air, you just can't do a thing. It was Ross Cato that time through running a 28.872, as opposed to Seth Well, who ran a 29.012. So that's not going to be good at all. It comes down in recalculations to a 28.994, but still over a tenth of a second slower. And if you consistently lose time at that rate, you're not going to be able to do anything with a position ahead of you, let alone the driver who leads the championship battle, who's multiple spots ahead. That time by, Seth Well makes a few more gains and gets it down low on Patton. Takes it way down to the bottom, and with 54 laps to go, Brad Patton gets moved aside. Now Seth Well puts himself on the hunt. Ross Cato finds himself with an advantage of 2.5 seconds right now. We'll see how much longer that lasts as Cody Smith continues to run away. That time by, Smith will take him to the stripe clean and green, and it's going to be Ross Cato second, Seth Well third, Brad Patton fourth, and Colin Gimman rounding out the top 5. Nicholas Ward now going to be 6th, and Don Stevenson is 7th, with Tom Wetmore 8th. Just like that, Wetmore fades even further back. A lot of trouble on this run. Started out pretty good, but just has not been able to hold on as the run has continued. Looks like a bit more wear and tear on this number 51, which has done him in. And Eric McFarland is 9th, Alan Rawwell then is 10th, and Sam Nito is 11th. 53 laps to go, coming down to 52 to go, and Sam Nito having a lot of trouble, of course, with connection all throughout the season. And we've seen occasional moments. This number 2 machine just can't keep on going. But having it happen tonight really going to sting, because it's a huge opportunity on the line for the Next Level Racing Sim Rig Grand Prize, and right now it just does not look to be possible unless there's another yellow flag. Sam Neill is all but out of contention entirely, and will have to wait another year, having that advantage in the first 45 laps, and disconnecting while leading the title picture makes it that much worse. But 106 laps in, Cody Smith knows he's not eligible regardless, and still keeps on going, leading lap time after time. Closest battle of the racing circuit right now, Colin Gimman and Brad Patton. As Patton continues to fade back even further, Colin Gimman gets up to the back bumper for the first time. Brad Patton is in jeopardy of falling out of the top 5. If Colin Gimman gets by and puts him in that 5th spot, it'll be Nicholas Ward chasing him immediately thereafter, and 50 laps to go in the 2023 Tour. The Octane Series has come down to 50 final laps after 29 complete races, and our 30th and final still ongoing. This is it. One last dash to finish off the season, and it's been a thriller all throughout, but this campaign may come to a close with one driver getting it done as a championship spoiler and the underdog as the title winner. 108 laps in out of 156, and the championship race may come down a pit road. We're still anticipating a pit cycle after this one, but Colin Gimman keeps on fighting with Brad Patton. Lap machine of Jacob Fife goes right up top. Not much more he can do as Fife keeps things going. Down the front straightaway, still a bit more in the tank for Jacob, but just can't keep it up with the leader's pace. At 109 laps in, as always here in FTN, Tango Paints brings you all the action as the official graphic design supplier of Fireball Talks NASCAR Live. For more information, reach out to Tango Paints on Twitter for offers starting at $50, a price you can't beat. For the best paint schemes in the iRacing market, Tango Paints has you covered for all your sim racing identity needs. Check out Toll Owens Tango Paints on Twitter. We'll be right back after our second promotional break of the day, brought to you by Toll Owen and Tango Paints. 111 laps through. Cody Smith advantageous with 46 laps remaining. Going to be Ross Cato, the championship leader, but that is a lead that is slowly but surely dissipating. That time by Seth Well, going to make it only a second and a half between he and that number 12. Not all hope is lost. The number 9 campaign making it back in the final stages. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed the action throughout this night so far, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Under 10 subscribers away from the big 1,300, chasing 1,500 before 2023 ends. It's a big goal for the team here, and we'd love to complete it with your support. Only exclusively on FTN, all the coverage of the Integrity Racing League, the Ignite Series, and the Octane Series. Tonight, the Tuesday Night Octane Series comes to an end as Brad Patton sees some connection issues and disconnects on his own. That might be a manual issue, might be automatic. According to iRacing, this time by the number 1 machine of Brad Patton disconnects and retires manually to finish his 2023 campaign. Cody Smith leads the way with 44 laps to go. One other driver disconnects, but it looks like that time it was by choice. And right now, Nicholas Ward going to try to chase down Don Stevenson as Tom Wetmore finds trouble, fading back even further into the depths of the later top 10. Eric McFarland is in 8th. I'm gaining just a bit. McFarland right now going to be the 8th spot. Alan Rawell is 9th. And Sam Nito is the final man of the top 10. And he finds himself there 1 lap down as we keep things going. The 2023 championship finale has all come down to this final run. Long green flag action, and it looks like it's going to stay that way until the very end. Drivers running a very clean and collected race here to wrap off the championship, and nice to see all of this respectful racing, knowing the stakes and what is in mind for a lot of these drivers. I mean, Cody Smith knows for one thing that if he was able to make it happen, he'll be the driver with a chance of the championship. If he only made that first round work much better, might have seen a different champion at the end of the day, because Cody Smith has been making time on Ross Cato. And even though Seth Well is indeed quicker, he hasn't been quick enough to catch up to both of them within the certain time we've seen, 50 laps under green. And it looks like now Seth Well only making up a second and a half on how far back he was just about 15 laps ago. Now finally reeling him all in, because he's made a much more conscious effort at saving his tire. And with equipment being better in the long run, it really helps you out. Ross Cato knows, though, this could be trouble, because if Seth Well keeps on gaining the shot that he's going to fade back without any other notice, it's going to be slim to none. Knowing how good Seth Well can get in the final stages of a race, you just cannot afford to try not to defend. It's going to be all offensive right now for the number 12 machine of Ross Cato in due time as Cody Smith keeps it going far away. Now it's going to be a juggernaut on juggernaut battle. The final force, these two drivers up ahead fighting for all that's left, and Seth Well that time by claws in yet another set of 3/10 on the lap. Gap now within 0.5 of a second, within half of a full second. It is Seth Well continuing to make gains, and off for turn 4 this time by the Splash and Go graphics. Number 9 is even closer to selling the score. Now Ross Cato's really got to worry. He goes a bit further up to the high side here to try to get some more momentum. Getting the speed off the corner might be all he can do to counteract the speed with the grip on the tire. It's momentum versus distance, and once again, but this time not through the dogleg, you'll see differences in how drivers run their line and race lap after lap. 39 laps to go this time by, and the championship race is now possibly decided in this moment. Now we got 2 of your final 4 content against each other directly ahead. And with Tom Wetmore fading into the distance, this could be it. And it might even be it for Tom Wetmore's sake, because if these drivers make contact, they go around, they get involved with the problem. It could be Wetmore who sails to victory and gets it done as the champion. But right now, of course, these two drivers know there's no reason to go that aggressive and make it that risky. Make it to the end and fight for the championship all throughout. Don't give up any spot if it's unnecessary. It's going to be a 1-2 punch in terms of Ross Ross Cato and Seth Well in the final stages of this championship night. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be coming through with his teammate Jorge Canales. Alvarez is further back, but right now that number 84 machine of Jorge Canales is a front seat view of the title battle. The 84 goes way down low, has himself down there, and the bottom side is taken. Alvarez's teammate and Jorge Canales goes right down, keeps it there, goes down to the dog leg, and now tries to make it by Ross Cato, and that he will. Guillermo Alvarez and now Jorge Canales both going through the field. It looks like Canales sets the tone, Alvarez due to follow, and right now Alvarez doing the same, more so to Colin Gidman, as Gidman runs currently in the 4th place. Now that's going to give Seth Well a bit of less time to really make the call. Now the distance is even shorter, less than 0.2 of a second, and number 9 machine opts to drop it down the bottom for the first time. Right on board here, this is the number 9 machine's front end perspective, and now we're going to ride with the rear review of Ross Cato. On board shot with the number 12 machine will show you all the emotions here, as he's now got more pressure than anyone else all night long. 35 laps to go, and every lap is closer to deciding that big moment for the championship. And the do-or-die moments of this race, it's Seth Well and Ross Cato up in front. Cato, the underdog all night long, now puts himself in a spot where there's a realistic shot at the title. But he is not done yet, and he knows just that, because Seth Well is trying everything. The number 9 machine goes right up top, now going to try it on the higher side. Doesn't get it then and there, actually loses time. And with 34 laps to go, Ross Cato gets away with a warning shot, giving him some time to breathe. It might not be enough to really settle yourself in, but take what you can get in this scenario and keep on going from there. 33 laps remaining, and time is running out for Ross Cato to keep on defending, because the more Seth Well breathes down this neck of the number 12, you know at some point he's going to feel the pressure, and he's going to have to either give way or fight until the car gives up trying. It's still a gap now within 1/4 of a second as they come across the line. 32 laps remaining, and while Cody Smith runs a quiet race up in front, Seth Well knows he does not want to go out silent in the same way. Number 9 machine is still right there, and see some trouble. It's going to be Colin Gidman coming down to pit road this time by. Gidman makes it through, and another competitive pit stop 125 laps in. Drivers running much longer than we expected, and it looks like now 125 laps in, only 2 competitive tops have been taken. The spots, of course, on pit road very rarely filled, as right now drivers keep the battle up on the trackside, and Seth Well is still right there. Number 9 machine for Nexus Esports has been running a hell of a comeback run, and even though it looked like early he would not have enough time to make it happen, things have changed, and now he's right there. Less than 30 laps to go after this one, as Cody Smith takes him down a line to make it 30 flat. And Ross Cato keeps defending. No major moves just yet. They're still going to be stagnant, but as close as they can be, it's only a matter of time before you see some pushing and shoving as Guillermo Alvarez finally goes up top, and he's going to interrupt the battle at the same time. Number 9 machine gets a good run, gets down the straightaway with ease, and puts that power down, getting nearly bumper to bumper. Seth Well close, just can't hack it. And now the Fast Forward Esports machine of Ross Cato gets another chance to lunge out, as they'll be side by side at the line. Seth Well up top, Ross Cato right down low, and now they're dead even after the dog leg, and through turns 1 and 2, it'll be a fight side by side for the title. Seth Well going to be right up there top. Ross Cato occupies a spot way down low. Now with 29 laps remaining, Ross still has it, but Seth Well is still right there, neck and neck, dead even, and it's going to be Ross keeping that bottom side. Seth has the momentum. Ross Cato's got the line down low. At the line, advantage goes for the first time in over 25 laps to Seth Well, and just like that, the number 9 has himself a championship lead, and the picture changes once again. Seth Well for Nexus Esports gets the advantage, but Ross Cato's not done just yet, still fighting, and off the corner, Guillermo Alvarez compromises that line, and it's going to be Cato having to drop back just a bit more, as the number 12 machine's given it all he had to this point, and the gamble paid off very well to begin with, but now in the dying state stages in the dying laps. He has not gotten a yellow flag, and he's going to have to get something to redeem this opportunity as the number 18 machine of Cody Smith keeps things rolling with 27 laps to go. The 2023 championship finale all comes down to this, a final run to remember. Tom Wetmore is still in 6th. He's going to find himself only a few tenths of a second away now from Nicholas Ward, Don Stevenson, but still nothing major in terms of his race. He'll still need a yellow flag or some sort of break to get back up there, just not the night he's intended for Tom Wetmore. As the number 51 keeps things going all the same. The Tube Tech Chevrolet maintains its advantage in terms of the 6th place, but not much else with 26 laps to go. Coming off of the back straightaway once again, and they'll make it through. Next Level Racing's number 18 has been dominant all night long. Cody Smith, fantastic night so far, and a night that would be dreamt of, shall we say. A night of dreams for some drivers, of course, to win and get a championship. Cody Smith, though, knows he can still get a win. Doesn't matter his circumstance in the playoffs this season, he's still building up that experience, and clearly, as he mentioned to us earlier in the round of 8, there's a caution flying, and Tom Wetmore will have trouble, and it looks like the yellow flag is out indeed. It is a caution flying. Caution with 25 laps to go, and it'll be a final sprint to the finish to decide who truly can get it done here in Phoenix. Now, with the yellow flag flying, an indication that Tom Wetmore has some trouble. We'll see whether or not that is indeed the case. And with the yellow flag out with 25 laps to go, bunching us up for what is only the 3rd yellow flag of the day. Wide angle camera shot going to show you it might have been a safety yellow. Sam Nito there with Tom Wetmore. This might save both of the races. I mean, Nito's going to give him the shunt, send him up the track, and it's going to be another 360, a lazy spin like what we saw at Martinsville. And Wetmore once again takes that spin, gets back going, and the caution will fly. A 360 automatically sends us back to pacing. And now the caution's out with 24 laps to go. And just like that, after a 68-lap run, drivers come down to pit road, and this is the money stop on the season. Everything's on the line here, and your pit exit camera is going to show you everything that happens with 24 laps to go. Pit road gets active one more time. Cody Smith going to be in. Seth Well as well. Ross Cato right there too. And Don Stevenson, not to mention the guy in 4th, he's right there as well. Tom Wetmore going to make it in this time by. He's a bit later in the picture after the incident he was involved in. And Seth Well gets the jump that time by. Ross Cato going to follow him out immediately thereafter. And it looks like Cody Smith right there too. Tom Wetmore going to be following Don Stevenson and Nicholas Ward. So Wetmore gets on the way a bit later, but now everyone back on a level playing field with 23 laps remaining. Seth Well gets going. He'll be the leader once again and find himself advantageous over Cody Smith, Ross Cato, and Don Stevenson. As now with 23 laps to go, we've got ourselves another break in the action. And with 23 to go, we'll bring you a brief promotional break courtesy of our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations. One final time on Tuesday nights in 2023, we'll have a chance to extend our special offer to join iRacing with the lowest prices in this platform's history. Discounts all year long. If you want to find out more, check out iRacing.com and take a look at our promotional message before we get back going with less than 22 laps to go.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And Coming around this time by, for anyone who wants to join the iRacing fun, there's an offer we're extending here in FTN to make it happen. Go to iRacing.com for over 40% off on discounts for the remainder of 2023. Black Friday sale coming up in just a month's time, so if you want to check that out, the one-stop shop for all that info, iRacing.com and the official eNASCAR newsletter. Tell you this much, if you want to find out a bit more about stock car racing's top level in the sim, the eNASCAR newsletter is the place to go, and we'll tell you a bit more about it, hopefully, if we have time. But right now, the focus once again on these drivers. 21 laps to go this time by. We'll crank it up as we usually do with 22 laps to go. Instead, we'll do it now with 20. Courtesy of our camera partner at trackcams22.com, we'll crank it up uninterrupted for the final time in the Octane Series here in 2023. Championship tensions, and it all comes down to this. Well, let's get it going once again from Phoenix with Seth Well leading. We're back on our way to crank it up with 20 laps to go. And with 15 laps to go in the 2023 Octane Series season, Seth Well has the edge by just under 4/10 of a second. The gap is small, and it continues to stay that way as they're single file once again for the final run of the campaign. Ross Cater, the underdog driver, is hoping to make things happen once again. That time by, he looks quick once more and is even faster than Seth Well at the line. 15 one-thousandths of a second he gained back that time through 2/10 flat, and they stay as close as they can be in the final laps of this one. Ross Cato, oh so close, and you'll see it once again to the bottom right of your screen. Here is his onboard camera, and you'll see he's going to go way high there. Seth Well going to defend down low, and they're going to be side by side. Ross Cato right there keeps it up top. He's going to try to make something happen through the dog leg. They're going to be dead even with 13 laps to go. This is what it all comes down to. Wells going to try to switch back, block him, and Ross Cato has to back off as a result. The Fast Forward Esports number 12 machine has made it this far and does not want to give up just yet. Championship spoiler in Cody Smith drivers right there as well. And if something happens, if push comes to shove, Cody's also getting in the mix. And with 12 laps to go, this time by the final dozen away, and we will not wait to interrupt the action one final time, courtesy of Next Level Racing. Whoever the championship battle gets this win, they will have a $2,000 sim rig courtesy of Next Level Racing, the highest quality sim racing manufacturers on the market for any product you need. Check out nextlevelracing.com for more information, as we'll come back later. This is too important. It's going to be 12 laps to go this time by the finale just ahead of us, and we'll find out who makes the call to get this championship done. The race-winning move, the championship move, it is all ahead of us. We're going to take that ad break and put it later. This is the moment, uninterrupted, and we're going to have it all happen in the final laps here. Seth Well has the lead. 11 laps to go. You'll see Ross Cato right there, and Cody Smith is in third. Tom Wetmore's going to be fourth right now, not too far behind, and the number 9 is still with the advantage. 10 laps to go this time through. The Nexus Esports Chevrolet has the edge by a quarter of a second, but still nowhere near safety. I mean, Ross Cato is still right there running almost dead even laps time after time. Take one more wide angle shot and you'll see how close these guys are for the most part. Now Seth Well has to pull out that extra inch, that extra percent, and make it happen. 110%, and if not more. Every driver's already pushing that much. Now take it further and go beyond that. If you really want to have that difference, you gotta push past your limits. Quarter of a second this time by separates your top 2 drivers. Ross Cato, who makes it here off a win last week in Martinsville, knows he can go for a back-to-back win campaign and make it happen in one of the most unlikely championship runs for any driver in Integrity Racing League history. Cato's hoping to make history for his own, knowing how it is still so likely that he'll be able to make it happen. 8 laps to go this time by 2 drivers in direct contention, both of which labeled in blue. You know who's still involved with the championship race based on the colors on the timing screen. Blue is still eligible. Red is a championship spoiler. So right now, 2 of the best in the business still find themselves up ahead. Now coming to lap 150 of 156, and it'll be Seth Well still leading, coming out of turn 4 this time by. Still can have that advantage as they cut through the dog leg once again, and the Chevy Camaro number 9 machine for Seth Well is right there, advantageous by now less than a quarter of a second, make it 2/10 flat as Ross Cato keeps hoping to run him down. Take a look off the deck lid right now, the number 9 machine, and you'll see it's still as close as it gets. Not at all a safe place to be in, with now coming down to 6 laps to go. And with 6 to go, this time by, Seth Well has been there and done that before. He's had so many opportunities at victory. He's made many of which work, but now looks to go and drive it home one more time to conclude an action-packed season. This number 9 machine is now on the verge of victory, but he has not yet been able to break away from Ross Cato, who would do anything with a championship in mind. The biggest prize in Integrity Racing League history in over a decade of competition will be awarded for the first ever time tonight. A sim rig with thousands of dollars in value. It's an absolute honor for these 4 drivers to have made it here, but now if you're still in the picture, you've got to fight for the chance to make it even further. Now, 1 lap to go is very, very near. The white flag is due to fly in just a few minutes, but there's 4 laps remaining, and it's Ross Cato still dropping down low, using that dog leg, trying to make it around, just can't stick it that time by. Cody Smith goes up high. He's going to try something different as well, and with Ross Cato shifting up and down the track, trying to make momentum wherever he can take it, see Cody Smith still puts down an awful lot of pressure and tries to make something stick at the same time. 4 laps to go. Seth Well has the edge, and he'll come across the stripe yet again. Advantageous 154 laps deep. It's going to be a final lap dash between these 2 drivers up ahead. Ross Cato knows how close he is, knows it's not done at all, but he's got to make something happen he's never done before. Push past those limits if he wants any opportunity, because Seth Well is sitting pretty for a chance of the championship, and Seth knows how hard he's fought to get it done, and he knows if he can get it done in 2 more laps, he'll have earned it and then some. 2 laps to go in the championship tour of 2023. Seth well there in the first spot, Ross Cato then second, and Cody Smith still there in third. Take a look on board Ross Cato one more time as he chases down the straightaway, knowing the next opportunity is the final opportunity. White flag due to fly, this time by. And the final lap of the Integrity Octane Series season in 2023 is here and now. Seth Well will take him down to the dog leg with ease. Ross Cato is still within arm's reach, but has to lunge it deep with the final corner just ahead. Well's got a lot of protection, of course, with the lap machines right behind. Still fighting with Cato, but it could be a deep send that makes all the difference. Going through turn 3 and 4 this time by Ross Cato sends it up the hill, but there's nothing more that can be done. Coming across the stripe for the final time, Seth Well makes it through, and in the inaugural season of the Octane Series, it is the number 9, a champion, and driving as hard as it gets all throughout the night, putting it in motion, a claw back to the top gives Seth Well the very first Octane Series championship, and the Splash and Go Graphics number 9 will get it done at the conclusion of 156 thrilling laps, making it through the very first champion of the Octane Series. Seth Well gets a chance to celebrate after all he's done in 30 races of Tuesday night thrillers. And when we talk about a driver who fought for each and every night of competition, Seth Well, one of the many best in the business here, but there's only one driver that gets the championship for a reason, pushing past the limits. That's what Seth had to do tonight, and he'll drive himself into victory lane, knowing all that he's just come through with. Not only a championship, not only another win, but in addition, a next level racing sim rig worth $2,000 in value, the biggest prize in Integrity history in over a decade of competition. A pioneering night for this number 9, and his victory lane now finds its suitor. It's Seth Well sitting, knowing what he's done, and victory lane has one driver, and there's only one, your champion, your race winner, Seth Well. Victory lane is his in the championship night here in 2023. We'll run through results, then get your top 3 immediately thereafter. A thrilling night of competition, and the number 9 from start to finish, one of the most competitive drivers, and it seemed like, especially when clawing back Ross Cato, he would not be denied. Ross Cato comes home second, the underdog man. It was oh so close, but with Seth Well winning it, it's Cody Smith, your championship spoiler, third on the order. Tom Wetmore comes home fourth after qualifying in the 4th spot, and the hard charger is Nicholas Ward from 16th up to 5th. Going to be Don Stevenson finishing 6th, and Eric McFarland 7th. Donovan Gibbon 8th, Alan Rawell 9th, and Jorge Canales rounding out the top 10. 11th place going to be held by Sam Nito. Guillermo Alvarez is 12th. And Nick Tarbuck will be 13th, with Jacob Fife 14th, Brad Patton 15th, and Kyle Cooper 16th, as John Steele rounds out the 17-driver field that concludes the 2023 Tour here in the Octane Series. With Seth Well a champion, we'll bring you back after one final Next Level Racing promotional break, the official provider of our award here in the Integrity Octane Series. We've crowned a champion, and Seth Well gets it done. The title is his, and we'll bring you back with our top 3 interviews to wrap off 2023. And tonight, to conclude the Octane Series season of 2023, an inaugural champion has been crowned. And tonight, your podium sees its race winner as the champion all the same. Seth Well will come through and make Integrity Racing League history as the inaugural champion of the Octane Series. Fighting with strategy, clawing back to lead over the long runs, and making happen to the final dash of the checkered flag. Your champion, a race winner once again, and you find yourself with the biggest prize in league history all at the same time. Seth Well, victory in Phoenix. What does it mean after such a hard-fought campaign?
I mean, it means a lot. I can't start the interview without apologizing to Tom because I flattened him. I mean, it was bad. It felt like in car I was on his left ear, and out of car it's very clear I was not. So I apologize to Tom because that ruined his night, and Sam lagged out, so that kind of killed both of them. And we finally got a good long run. It was fun racing with Ross. We had a good battle twice. For the last 60 laps, we had a good race. I just feel like shit for Tom. I'm gonna be honest. That's just where I'm at.
And we saw, of course, the contact earlier in the going between the both of you, but from there on out, you had to pull it back together and keep going for your own cause, which is, of course, a challenge. Given the stakes and given the feelings in this race, it's very challenging to keep it 100% on lock. And that's what you had to do to keep on going, and it's exactly what you did in that long run up after the first scheduled caution and going from there until nearly the end. So how was it managing that run, having to make it back up there to fight all the way to the title, and it came down to the first and second battle to win a championship?
The long run was pretty fun, in all honesty. It was fun kind of having to drive 3 to 4 different types of ways to drive the track. So that was honestly really enjoyable. Normally, I don't love this track because it feels kind of one groovy, but I know there was like 4 or 5 of us that had a really good couple battles while I was trying to catch back up to Ross and try and run down Cody before the yellow caution came out, and then we got the yellow and wanted control over the last restart with the 2 tires.
Keeping control all the way till the end, just to make sure it was nice and smooth in that final 15-odd lap run, and that's exactly what you did. A championship in the very first running of the Octane Series, and not only that, of course, the sim break courtesy of Next Level Racing coming your way as well. A big way to cap off this season, a championship and a prize to go right there with it. So reflecting upon 2023, what's the biggest move that you can make to keep this success going and maybe even go back to back when looking forward to the next season of competition here in the Integrity Racing League?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what we're doing exactly in 2024 yet. I know we've got our area season just getting ready to start. We've got Solstice, and then running 20th and FTF every week. So I guess that's our focus right now, is just trying to improve in those 3 situations and try and clean up some things. Still need to improve on my racecraft quite a bit. And there's a couple of things I'm doing with tire saving that needs to be better, and see where we go from there.
And hoping to keep on going and building upon the skill set already seen throughout 30 great races. Seth Well, a champion here in the Integrity Octane Series. With all this season that we've looked back on and all that we've seen in the 30 weeks of action, what else would you like to leave us with as we move on to another season, hopefully as good as this one, if not better, come February?
I'm sorry, I blanked. um, I just want to shout out Next Level. It's a grand prize. That's a really big prize. So I know I'm kind of deadbeat with my mistake early in the race, but I appreciate Next Level sponsoring this season with that award. Dave, you running all these races. That's a schedule, man. That's a lot of races to be broadcasting. So I appreciate that all season. Appreciate the admins all week, or all season, excuse me, and every week, showing out, showing up, holding us to a standard. Appreciate Nexus as always. Appreciate Cosmo. I didn't run this scheme all season. When the Nexus Black scheme comes out in a league where I don't normally use it, that's typically when we're taking it a little bit more serious. So the S&G car was out tonight. Appreciate that. I think that's where we'll leave it.
and leaving us with a championship in mind, a race win at the same time, and championship night goes about as well as it possibly could for Seth Noel and the entire number 9 team, winning the inaugural championship in Octane Series competition. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it, David.
But Seth Noel, our champion on the way, it's another side of the story, just one position behind. And for Ross Cato, not much else could be done. It was a fantastic drive to win at Martinsville and make it into the Final Four. And making it here is a statement that really shows the final progression of a season of consistent improvement. Ross Cato, second place not only in the race here, but the championship standing as well. Looking back on 2023, and this race in particular, how was it making it to this point and eventually coming home in the runner-up spot?
If you had told me that I would be fighting for a championship, let alone, winning a race, I wouldn't have believed you. I was thankfully invited to this league by Tom Wetmore last fall, and just was going to use it to get some extra practice. And these guys have welcomed me with open arms, and I'm really glad that I've been able to race with a lot of these dudes. And finishing second, the old adage, second sucks, but I am very grateful to have progressed this far and improved this much, and to have put some consistency in my employ and to get where I am now. But congratulations to Seth. He's been the class of the field all season, so it was a tall order to even dream of beating him. But to be on his back bumper right as it was coming down to the wire, and at least having a chance, that does hold a lot of value in my heart as a racer. So, just overwhelmed with gratitude. But at the same time, there's the bitterness of not winning. But all in all, pretty grateful.
We saw how close you were, as you mentioned, right on the back bumper and having a very, very fair chance at making it happen down to the final turn. Tonight, you led quite a lot of laps, leading almost the entirety of that second long green flag run, getting that time up in front and battling all the way to the end. So how was it managing strategy? A gutsy pit road call to get out first, got you up there, and you kept it that way until the very end.
Yeah, well, as far as the race is concerned, I didn't lead any laps, but I led a lot of laps with regard to my other 3 adversaries. So it was great kind of being out front and pacing myself off of Cody Smith, the prior reigning champion. And I just knew if I could just keep it smooth and consistent behind Cody, that I would hopefully be ahead of my other 3 competitors for the championship. Unfortunately, you had Sam had some problems with his connectivity. Tom had some problems with, I don't know whose driving error it was. I was too busy trying to avoid it to realize whose fault it was. However, it was just very difficult trying to manage tires better than Seth Noel. He's one of the best at doing it. You'll be driving, you'll be several laps into a run, and you think, oh, Seth has burned up his stuff. He's not going to be a threat. And then just a few laps later, he's on your back bumper. So it was really just a matter of just trying to stay consistent and smooth. But at the end of the day, wasn't enough to beat the best.
Giving as hard a fight as anyone could have given it, Ross Cato, runner-up here in the championship after 30 races, moving through the ranks and becoming a race-winning contender when it mattered the most. Reflecting on 2023, as we mentioned to Seth, and of course in a Final Four position you were here, what can you take to build off the season, maybe improve even further, knowing how far you've come in just the span of this year?
Well, I've really been trying to figure out the gearing of this car, and whether downshifting or staying in a higher gear is beneficial. That's one of the main kind of mysteries to try to figure out. Also, just how this car, I guess, doesn't really like to be driven hard, and to have to kind of semi-slow poke around to save tires and just get that delayed gratification later on in the run. It's been rather difficult. However, I have improved. I just wish I could figure out how to maximize that. I could stand to be a little bit more aggressive. I at one point got to the outside of Seth earlier on in that 20 lap run to the finish, and I felt like I should have been just a little bit more aggressive and kind of used up a little bit more racetrack. But when I'm behind the wheel, the default is to be smooth and to have good form first, and then hope that the speed comes later on. I just try not to make a fool of myself. So if I could figure out how to be a little bit more on edge with my aggressiveness, then I think that will definitely redound to my benefit going in the future.
And looking to hone in on that power and aggression late in the tour. 2024 already promising as Ross Cato rounds out this season the inaugural Octane campaign as the second place runner in our championship standings. With only this final opportunity in mind, how do you feel, of course, looking forward, and any final thoughts to wrap off this campaign?
Well, overall, just in my iRacing career, this has been a breakout year for me. I've done I've had some pretty good runs. I had the win at Martinsville. That was really special. I was able to perform well tonight and come up with the runner-up position. I've been really figuring a lot of stuff out, and it's been incremental and gradual, but I really am grateful for how I've been able to improve, and I hope the trajectory just keeps moving on up. In my last race, when I won at Martinsville, I mentioned how my wife has been so helpful in just the psychology, I guess. It's just I've been a lot more at ease behind the wheel. Ever since we got married, it just seems like I've done better. So that's another factor. Hopefully, she sticks around. But it's just really nice to have this improvement show itself, and to be recognized by my competitors and be given congratulations, and to be able to learn from them. So moving ahead, I hope that this continues and I'm able to kind of have an avalanche of wins after I get a little bit more seasoned.
And continuing to rise the ranks here in the Integrity Racing League, rounding out this season, runner-up on the board, Ross Cato with a second-place finish in Phoenix, second place in the championship with a fantastic drive in the final two races to make it to this point. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Everybody have a wonderful autumn and a wonderful holiday.
With Ross Cato on the way, one other driver to speak to on the podium. We have two interviews left. Stick around for thoughts from league owner Jacob Fife after this, as Cody Smith continues his role as the major championship spoiler on this run. For Cody Smith, defending champion coming into this season, and you gave him a hell of a fight tonight, even if you weren't championship eligible. Third place, leading laps up in front. You had pace, and it was certain that these drivers could have gotten a taste of that if you just happened to make it in as the Final Four driver. So how do you feel wrapping off this season? Another successful run.
Yeah, absolutely. Feels good. That was my only goal these last few weeks, was to come in and win races. I certainly didn't want to do anything to cause issues for any of the top four. I was cognizant of that. But I wasn't going to pull over and let them go either. So I came in wanting to win the race. I feel like I had the speed to win the race. It's just the way it played out there at the end. I didn't have the track position, and Seth was fast there at the end too. So fun race all in all. I always love this place. This is probably one of my best tracks. So if I could have gotten the Final Four, I would have definitely liked my chances for sure.
And of course, looking forward to a lot of strong runs in the final leg of the tour. You mentioned Phoenix. You felt confident here, and it showed with quite a lot of laps led, having that speed all throughout. So how is it here, knowing the stakes and also racing for your own case?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a balance, kind of like in real life. You don't want to mess those guys up, but hey, we're racing. I've got nothing to lose. Um, I came in thinking I'm gonna race these guys just like I would in any other race. So, but it was a lot of fun. Everyone raced relatively clean. I hated to see the issues. Seemed like every playoff driver had some sort of issue tonight. You hate to see that, but it was a good race at the end, between Ross and Seth for sure there.
And a fantastic fight for the championship, as you mentioned. And now with 2023 behind us, you have experience getting championships here in the Integrity Racing League, knowing the competition, the level that we've seen. 2024, certainly by all means, it's going to be a challenge to go back up there and fight for a title. But we've seen pace, and it has not been lost. Matter of fact, as of recent, been much more speed in these final races, just going for checkered flags. With 2024 in mind, next up, is there a chance to return as a champion?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely the goal. Once you get there, that's where you want to be every year. So I'm out here to win races, compete for wins. Always some really good competition in this league. I always seem to have that lull in the season where I can't seem to find the speed, and then you just hope that you time it in the right spot. So, but yeah, I mean that's what we're here for. We're coming to win as many races and championships as we can.
And fight for victories and championships next season. The goal as Cody Smith wraps off a successful campaign, third place here in the finale at Phoenix. With only, of course, his final opportunity. Anything else you'd like to add to reflect on 2023 and look on to what's next?
Yeah, just got to think Next Level Racing. It's pretty cool to be racing for a really cool sim rig from them. Wish I could have been up there, but yeah, it's like I said, that's the coolest thing we've done in this league so far. So look for more to come. Got to thank you, Dave, for the broadcast. You did great all year. It's been awesome. Looking forward to next year already.
We're going to keep things moving. Cody Smith, third place to wrap off the campaign in 2023. Looking at another chance at the championship with the February coming back next time around. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
Cody Smith on the move, your final driver for the podium, Cody Smith in third. We have one extra interview to wrap off tonight in Jacob Fife, Integrity Racing League owner, reflecting on a season that has given us a lot to remember. It's an expansion for the Integrity Racing League, running the Octane Series campaign, this entire platform for the first time in Integrity Racing League history, and for the 36 crew, successful season overall. But on the grand scale, looking at this league continuing to grow, how's it feel coming home not only with a successful season and watching the league continue to flourish?
Yeah, we've had a pretty solid season this year. I'm pretty happy with our results overall. Unfortunately, on a personal level, my last few weeks of racing have not been great in either series. But no, for the Octane Series and the Night Series as well, which will finish up here in a few more weeks, has been pretty successful. So I'm happy with a lot of the improvements we made. Our broadcast being one of them. So thank you to you, David, for helping us elevate that. I think the racing's been pretty solid for the most part. I think in any league you go into, you're going to have your ups and downs and things. We wish we would have done better. Martinsville's probably a good example of that last week. That wasn't too pretty, but yeah, I we had a pretty decent turnout for most of the year. You're always going to have a kind of a decline as we get to the end of the season, unfortunately. But all in all, a successful season for the Octane Series.
Outlaw, of course, entirely a success for this league, but in addition, as you mentioned, a few troublesome nights later in the going, but this number 36 team had a lot of speed, and going into the playoffs is one of those championship contenders to keep an eye out for. Multiple victories, a lot of podium runs as well, and looking back on this one for you personally, how was it making things happen with the next gens as opposed to maybe running those Xfinity machines on Monday nights and then coming here on Tuesdays? Running the double makes it a bit different, and you were one of the few guys up there who did both, and did both well.
Yeah, they're definitely completely different in how they drive. So you can't really transfer but so much from one car to the other. I think this car is much more difficult to drive. It's more of a challenge, that's for sure. Much more on edge. So some people like that challenge, some people don't. I totally get it. But it's once you get the hang of it, it can be a fun car to drive. And like I said, the last couple weeks for us, as a team, weren't all that fun. I really thought going into Martinsville, I had, if I just did certain things, I would have had a decent shot to make it to the Final Four tonight. And just a combination of, bad luck, errors on my part, whatever you want to call it. I just didn't quite get there to the Final Four, which is our goal for the year. But definitely a solid showing. I'm, lucky enough to have been in the playoffs year after year after year. So it's to be able to get there and to advance in rounds is always hard to do. So I'm definitely grateful for that, and don't take it for granted, but always striving for more.
And always, of course, driving to keep things going for much more. Jacob Fife, you've seen success here, and you've known how it's been. And this year, we not only have an expansion of 2 series, we've also had ourselves a great prize, courtesy of Next Level Racing, and a lot to look forward to heading to another year of development in 2024. With this season already completed and the next on the horizon, what's the big movement, shall we say, to make things even better looking in the future?
Yeah, we have a lot of promising things. I think kind of what you alluded to earlier, we have a lot of stuff that we built on this year. The Next Level Racing obviously is something completely different than we've done any other year prior, and is I think a big elevation to put that out there and say, hey, if you sign up for this league and you win a championship or in either of our series, you have the ability to run a sim rig. So I don't think a lot of series can say, or a lot of leagues can say that. So being able to have that Next Level Racing sponsorship come through like that has been a great get on our part, and that partnership has been invaluable for our league this year. So that's definitely something we hope to carry on for next year, and have them back with us. Obviously, having you back with us next year, I guess I can let that cat out of the bag. Having you come back and do the broadcast with us next year is a big get as well. I'm gonna spoil you a little bit here. You've done an incredible job with your broadcasts for both series. Your commitment to having a quality product, showing up every week, and giving your best is greatly appreciated by everyone here in the league, and we certainly appreciate that. So having that to go into next year is definitely a plus. And then really, like I said, it's just building off of that. I think each year we learn things that work, don't work, and you try to make improvements to just make things better in general, whether it's rules wise, whether it's awards or prizes that we can offer. All of those things are on the table. We're a group that's we want people with a wide range of skill to come race with us and have a reason to come race with us. So I think one of the things that we're going to probably try to focus on as we go into the off season is in what ways can we enhance people who maybe aren't the quickest every week or whatever, to give them reason to come out and race, whether that's a free charter for next year, or a prize bonus for something like most laps completed, or like we do a random driver award if you run 75% of the race. Stuff like that is geared to hopefully incentivize people, whether you're running top 5 every week or back in 20th somewhere. Come out, race, have fun, have a good product that we're able to put out as far as clean racing is concerned, and just come have fun and hang out and race in a competitive league. And that's a really hard balance to hit, but we certainly try every year to do that, and hopefully we'll come up with some things next year. We've got a couple meetings here the next couple weeks with the admin team as a whole to hopefully solidify some of those things, and I hopefully announce a great product for 2024.
And the excitement, I'll tell you this much, already real for us here at FTN. It's been a great first 30 races, and we're looking forward to quite a lot more on the channel. 2023, the first season here for the Octane Series, and many more to come. Jacob Fife, driving, having success, race winning, and also owning the Integrity Racing League, watching it succeed once again. Well, with anything else you'd like to say, the floor is yours as we wrap off a successful 2023 season.
Yeah, definitely want to thank all the members who signed up and ran races through the course of the year. Without our members, the league is nothing. So, want to thank every member who signed up and raced. I want to thank the people who've watched streams and impressions and things like that. Make a difference when we're going to look for sponsorships and finding ways to elevate the league. So, to the people out there who watch the races and stuff, thank you. I want to thank my admin team for both series. Obviously, got a few more weeks to go with the Ignite series, but all of them do a great job. It takes a lot of effort to do this year in and year out, to put out a product like this. So I want to thank them for their efforts. And once again, thank you there, David, for your work for FTN. We're looking forward to next year. Hopefully, a lot of cool things to come, and just take that one stop next notch forward for a league as a whole, and hopefully we can do that for 2024.
And looking to take this one even further, Jacob Fife, league owner here for the Integrity Racing League, sticking around for all the action. We thank you immensely for the work behind the scenes, and of course, thank you for your time here as a driver, competing each and every week here. Once again, been a great success this season has been, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, man. Have a good night, bud.
Jacob Fife on the move. The final driver we talked to tonight, the number 36 machine, wrapping off of interviews for this one. To recap, your final podium of 2023 goes as follows. Going to be Cody Smith third, Ross Cato second, and Seth Newell, your winner and your champion to conclude a thrilling 2023. 30 great races, and it all came down to a thrilling championship finish. And as we've seen, nothing short of fantastic action from start to finish indeed. The checkered flag flies on an incredible 2023. We thank all of our viewers and all drivers for the Integrity Racing League for their immense support in wrapping off this year with all that we've seen from them. We hope to have them back for next year, and I think we will be, so keep an eye out for that. We love to keep this thing going as 2024. We look to have even better racing here in the Octane Series. The Night Series still has about 4 more weeks of racing, so stick around on Monday nights. We'd love to have you there. Another great show courtesy of the Integrity Racing League team. We'd love to have you watching there as the clash is still ongoing and their championship has yet to be decided. I've been David Croix, hosting all the action here on FTN all year long, and your support has been greatly appreciated. If you have anything else you'd like to say, chat room's always open. We might actually still be live on the Highline Racing League broadcast. No confirmation on that one, though. That is still a possibility. River Page is commentating over there, and we hope to have you all whenever we're live again on FTN. Thank you all for your immense support throughout 2023, and we hope you all have a fantastic night. This has been the Integrity Octane Series, exclusively live on FTN.